So, the major important ideas that we find in the short story Our Father by Bharati Mukherjee is that the story questions the concept of fatherhood in an ironical manner. Irony is a figure of speech which a writer or a novelist use. Irony means the negative of it. So, a father generally means a protective, caring member of the family who protects his own child, who is loving, who is gentle, who is caregiver. But in the short story by Bharati Mukherjee, we find Mr. Vomik is a father, but he is a patriarchal father. His patriarchal mindset is something that changed the entire understanding of fatherhood, and as a result, he is not at all shivering from the fear that he killed his own child. Rather, he is ready to protect his family honor, and according to his old, backdated, outdated Indian understanding, he said that when a child is going to smear the family honor, it is better to murder the child. So he performed that act of honor killing. And here in the story, Bharti Mukherjee shows through the character of Mr. Bhaumik the tension between the Indian traditional lifestyle, thoughts, beliefs, and the modern, liberal, very updated worldviews as existing in America. And as a man learning the new changes in America, Mr. Vomik is unable to cope up with the new culture, new understanding, new mindset, new philosophy towards life. And as a result, he murdered his own child. So the story talks about the tension, the conflict within the mind of Mr. Bhaumik, who very ironically worships Mother Kali, the mother goddess, in his worship room, in his puja room, but he is unable to respect women around him in his family. So for his wife, he has no sympathy, no love. He always blamed his wife for everything. His wife often complained him that you have time for everything, but you do not have any time for household help. So his marriage has turned into a loveless marriage where he always keeps on boosting his male ego, male arrogance, and he never finds sympathy, understanding, love, or the sense of equality for his wife. He, as a father, is unhappy because he has a girl child. He wanted to have a male child, which is again a very patriarchal, very gender biased male idea which Mr. Bhaumik had. And he keeps on believing that Bubbly is a girl child, so she cannot match the expectation from a male child. As a result, Mr. Bhomik was unable to develop a loving relationship with his own child, Bubbly. And the tragedy befalls on the Bhomik family because of Mr. Vomik's very flawed, very wrong understanding that man should be the superior member in a family while the women must listen to the men around them, not the other way around. So, as he came from Ranchi, in a very remote location of Ranchi, where all the typical stereotypical ideas about masculine supremacy is prevailing, he was unable to accept feminine equality, feminine freedom in a new world of America. So as a result, his character is he is continuously torn between the American liberal worldviews and the Indian traditional orthodox worldviews. As a result, the story shows it is very difficult to be a father, but rather it is easy to be a patriarch, to be a male dominated member in a society where nobody talks about the feminine equality and freedom. Rather, everyone is ready to focus on the male supremacy. In the story, important understanding is the character of Mr. Wormik's wife. She is a modern woman. She has a modern lifestyle. She has perfectly adjusted with her American life. But see, patriarchy is infectious. Patriarchy is contagious. So Mrs. Baumik was gradually contaminated by the false, wrong, male dominated ideas of her husband. So as a result, she also finally did not support her child Bubbly for her decision to be a single mother in a free country like USA, where it is a very normal decision, not something rebellious. So finally, when her husband killed their only child, Bubbly, it is she who called the police for the necessary action. In the story, the important understanding is that fatherhood is very difficult. If you are a father, you need to be more reciprocative. You need to be more gentle, you need to be more tender, you need to be more caring, protective, and you need to guard your child no matter what happens in your life. And your family honor is never ever more than your child's safety, security, and happiness. So therefore the story represents very important understandings of the differences between Indian lifestyle and American lifestyle. And when a man like Mr. Bhaumik is torn between these two lifestyles, he is unable to pick up any one. He keeps on juggling from American values to Indian values, and ultimately he keeps on struggling within himself. And his decision to murder his own child during a heated argument shows that he is unable to cope up properly. He is unable to adjust himself to the changing situation in the USA. So as a result, the idea of fatherhood that we get in the story is very negative, very ironical. At the same time, it is very much filled with the patriarchal arrogance, where it shows that a patriarch can never be a father. If you are a father, you need to be more compassionate, sympathetic, empathetic. You need to understand the decision of your child no matter where life takes you to. So the story finally talks about the conflict between two different worldviews and the problem of the man Mr. Bhaumik, who is unable to fit into these different worldviews. I hope this discussion will be helpful for your understanding. So if you like the video, please share this video with your friends and keep on watching my YouTube channel for more similar updates. Stay tuned. Thank you. Bye.